Starting anything new is super intimidating and people want to be as informed as possible. I know that I was looking for a video like this when I first started and I could not find one. And I have been shocked at the lack of aerial videos. As I go along in my aerial journey, I'm trying to add on things as I gain experience that I can share with other people who might be starting. You will want to bring water first and foremost, and I know that seems super obvious, but for a high level activity like that, you definitely want to be hydrated. It's crucial to your performance because if you're not hydrated, you're not going to be thinking clearly and your body isn't going to be able to keep up. The second thing that you want to bring is a snack for afterwards or some kind of post-workout meal. And this is especially important if you want to build muscle, and that is a very large concern with a lot of aerialists because you want to get stronger and you want to build that muscle so that way the moves get easier and you could advance. What I usually like to bring is some kind of protein shake or a protein cookie, something like that. Especially if you have a longer commute, it's really important when you're trying to gain muscle that you eat very soon after you work out. I have a 45-minute commute home, so I don't want to be in the car the whole time without eating anything, without replenishing what my body needs to be able to build that muscle, because then it's just eating the muscle and I'm not really getting anywhere. And I recommend, highly recommend doing that for yourself. Another thing that is important to bring is a notebook and something to write with. If you don't bring a notebook, you're not going to retain the information that they're giving you as well. I know when I first started I wasn't bringing a notebook because I didn't know this, and I lost a lot of what I learned because I saw it once and then we moved on, and then by the time we came back to it weeks or months later, I forgot it again. And if I had just written it down in my notebook, I would have been able to look back at that and been like, oh, okay, I remember this is how you get into this movement. A lot of my own aerial teachers have encouraged that we bring notebooks and something to write with. The last thing that I would suggest bringing is a planner, and this is totally personal, not everyone does this. I bring a planner because I like to stay up to date with the workshops and the classes that are being offered in the future. A lot of times the teachers will talk about things that are coming up, or there will be a bulletin board, and there's been times before where I didn't write it down and I was like, oh, that looks cool, like I should take that, and I ended up forgetting and realizing later on like, oh, I could have taken that, but I just didn't do my due diligence and prepare for it and write it down and remember that the event was happening. So the planner has really helped me keep track of those things and keep track of my aerial training as a whole. Moving on to what to wear, you are going to want tighter fit clothing and you want to be comfortable moving in it. It doesn't have to be necessarily stuff that you would wear to the gym because aerial is kind of its own thing and you want to accommodate for that. And it's also important to know that each apparatus is kind of different in what you would want to wear, but as long as you're wearing tighter fit clothing, for the most part, you'll be okay. You just want to think about going upside down, and you don't want something to ride up or basically do weird stuff when you're upside down. Make sure that it is upside down proof and that you're not going to be having trouble if you go upside down. Because even if it's your first class, you are probably going to be inverting, and I know that sounds intimidating, but I promise it's not, because there are people that are going to be there helping you and making sure that you get where you need to be. You want to make sure that you have basically your neck down covered with the exception of socks. I would advise wearing socks anyway, just to the beginning of the class so that way you can warm up. But if you're going on silks or any fabric apparatus, you're not going to want socks because then you will slip, and having bare feet provides that extra grip. Basic climbs will be using your feet and you definitely need that grip. If you are using socks, you're going to be straining so much harder than you need to be. Personally, I hate feet, and that was really hard to get past for me to have my feet out in the open, but it's necessary and you need to do it. So if you're on a hard apparatus like lyra or trapeze, you have a little bit more flexibility with wearing socks, and I always wear socks to those classes, usually longer socks, and the more layers the better with the hard apparatuses because they protect your skin against the metal and bruising and stuff like that. And you're gonna have bruises anyway, but just that extra layer really helps to make it more comfortable. You don't really necessarily have to go out and buy a whole new wardrobe for this. You can probably find things, if you have athletic clothing, in your closet already. So I would recommend wearing like a tighter workout shirt and either leggings or joggers, something that's not going to slip. Nothing is worse than not being able to focus on the class because you're hyper conscious of your clothing. I would recommend wearing a longer sleeve shirt if you have one. It's not as applicable for the harder apparatuses, but for silks you can get a silk burn that is very similar to rug burn, and you avoid that by basically wearing longer clothing. And I know it's hard to wrap your brain around because you know that you're going to be working out and you're going to be hot, but it definitely is worth it later when you're not suffering from silk burn. So if you're in a lyra or a trapeze class, I wouldn't worry as much about the layers unless you just want to have the extra layer of protection. For either apparatus, you probably want to have your legs completely covered. I am a dancer, so I usually wear a leotard under my clothes that I wear. So I'll wear a leotard and then I'll have leggings on over that, and then I'll have like a smaller, like a crop top or something on over top of that. That way when I'm upside down and stuff, that leotard is not going anywhere. It's gonna stay there and I'm gonna be covered, and I can be assured that I don't have to fidget with my clothing while I'm in the air. If you don't have a leotard and you still want that extra layer of protection, you can definitely get like a longer cami that can just go underneath your regular shirt and just tuck it into your leggings or your joggers or whatever you're wearing, and that will also do the trick. Or you can even just do that with your shirt that you're wearing, but it is going to be a little bit baggier, and so that's why I tend to avoid doing that, and I just wear the leotard so it stays smooth. You definitely don't want baggier items, especially with fabric. They will get stuck and wrapped up and it's just going to get in your way. Tight fit clothing, fuller coverage, upside down proof, those are the main things. Other than that, wear something comfortable and you should be fine.